evening, whatever time you are listening to this. It is Saturday, October 13th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host. I am the hit maker, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome. What's going on, everybody? We've got a fun show for you today, but first, as always, you can catch me out on my socials. Twitter, the 215, spelled out. Charismatic _ Creations 52 on YouTube, and Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. Last week we looked at, we had our second part of the Faction Warfare series, looking at women factions. And today, well, I guess we got another new series. It's the Comeback. People that have either left companies and returned to said companies, or maybe even retired and came back out of retirement. So this is going to be fun. Got a couple people I'm going to take a peek at, but for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. So we've had an exciting week of news, and it's all starting to come together. So first things first, Kevin Owens is getting a push. Thank the Lord. As you know, Triple H is definitely going to be pushing his boys, and Kevin Owens is definitely one of them. KO hasn't held the championship in 5 years. Let that sink in. Dalton Castle and the boys, they've signed with the Ring of Honor. It's great. They've kind of been pretty much mainstays and staples of Ring of Honor. I expect them to, put some work in. Sasha and Naomi are pretty much coming back. I don't want to say it's a done deal, but it's a done deal. We know how this is going to go. Probably Kai and Sky win the tag team tournament, and Sasha and Naomi show up saying that they're the world champions. It's easy. It's simple. Make it happen. John Laurinaitis' people power has quietly been fired by the WWE. You knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to go down. So he won't be missed. Matt Menard is injured. He has stated that he got injured in the Blood and Guts match. He won't be wrestling for a little bit, but Angelo will be able to hold things down. You want to know why Ring of Honor hasn't had a weekly TV show yet? Because they desperately need one. Well, it's pretty much like this. Tony Khan doesn't have full ownership yet. He only owns the copyright and the video library. He's not the full copyright holder for the Ring of Honor Wrestling Entertainment LLC, which is still under Sinclair Broadcasting. So just gotta wait, because he fucked up on the paperwork. He dropped the ball. Former COO of Ring of Honor, Joe Koff, was pretty upset about this. The transfer should have went down in May, after the sale in March, and Tony's running shows in April. Surprisingly, Sinclair hasn't sent DMCA to Tony Khan. Tony just messed up on the paperwork. Like, let's get this done raw. Damn near exactly 2 million viewers this week, with a .54 in the 18 to 49 demo. It's not bad. It's down from last week, but I expect Raw to be around this mark for the time being. Vince, well, guess what? More hush money has been found. Another $5 million of unrecorded expenses have been linked to Vince McMahon. That brings the total to like $20 million. Unrecorded expenses, and we know what they have to deal with. Mickey James is hinting at retirement. She's saying it's getting to that point, and she's just contemplating it. And I love Mickey, and I want to see Mickey wrestle one more time. That's all I'm gonna say about that. NXT viewership has fallen. They brought in 597,000 viewers with a .13 and 18 to 49 demo. That is down from last week where they brought in 649,000 viewers. We'll see how NXT plays out with Hunter being back in charge. Where do they find that middle ground? Adam Cole is still not cleared to wrestle just yet, even though he had that return 2 weeks ago just to get him back on TV, because they need him back on TV. Hopefully he should be able to get cleared by All Out. And some shitty news, which hurts me so much. Chris Statlander is injured once. Again, she tore her ACL and her meniscus. This is her second time she's torn her ACL. And it sucks. So she's going to be out at least until next May. And just like she was rolling along, she was finally getting that push, and it just sucks. And I wish Chris the best and a speedy recovery. Dynamite with Quake by the Lake, the special. They didn't get 1 million viewers, but they did about 972,000, so they're climbing back up. They did a .33 and 18 to 49 demo. CM Punk, even though he returned this past week on Dynamite, he's still not super cleared, and he's still rehabbing, but it looks like he may be ready to go by the time we get to All Out. And Parker Boudreaux is All Elite, the last member of the newest member of the Trust. Well, not newest member, you'll find out why. Of the Trust Busters has signed with All Elite Wrestling. That is the news, and we shall be right back. To our in-ring shows. It's been pretty fun. So Raw, we are still in the Joe Biden. So I got Joe Biden in front of me. The Triple H era, and it's going pretty well. So first things first, Monday Night Raw. Show it the thumbs up immediately. It's just a good show. So Control opens the show. They're making their presence known. Bayley flubbed up. She called Dakota Sky, but she's a professional. And said, I know I messed up. You idiot fans make me angry. Bianca in the gang, Alexa Bliss and Asuka come out. And the brawl breaks out. So we got the heat. There will be a 6-woman tag between these 6 women at Clash at the Castle. Seth Rollins beat Angelo Dawkins. This was a two-folded affair. It'll continue Seth's run against the Profits, and also set the seeds for more of the Profits' eventual breakup. Just remember, Montez Ford didn't make the save, but Angelo Dawkins did. Seeds planted. Dom is upset with his dad for siding with Edge, and Dom walks off. He's out of there. So we'll see what transpires with him. He's got to be joining the Judgment Day, right? Ciampa cut a really good babyface promo talking about Harley Race and the importance of the United States Championship. but we got to keep Ciampa as a heel, keep him with the Miz, so you make it make sense to me. KO murdered Ezekiel. Ezekiel didn't get an entrance. When we came back from commercial, he was already in the ring. KO murdered this man into a repackaging and then cut a promo backstage in the interview saying it's time to redo some things to let people know who he really is. So that's the last we've seen of Zeke. I can guarantee that. Don't be surprised when Elias shows back up. It was fun while it lasted. Finn Balor beat Rey Mysterio. This was better than their previous match. Rey was distracted as Rhea brought out Dom, who was beaten and bloodied, and she just whipped his ass, and that's how Finn won with the power of distraction. Kai and Sky beat Tamina and Dana Brooke in the first round of the Women's Tag Team Championship tournament, so they will be moving on. Lashley defended the United States Championship against Tommaso Ciampa, and he retained. This was a very solid affair. And we're elevating the mid-card championships. Omos won a squash match. Dolph Ziggler beat Chad Gable, and in the main event, AJ Styles beat The Miz in a no DQ match. Now, what's so important about this match is all throughout the show, we were seeing things about like a car crash or something or other of that nature, and it was spread throughout the show, and it was Dexter Lumis. He was in the crowd. So, Dexter Lumis is back. Yeah. Can you just bring back Hunter? Can you just bring back Johnny and Candice and call up Indy, and we can just bring the way back? And just fuck Theory, fuck him. So over on Dynamite, we had Quake by the Lake. She'll also get a thumbs up. So our opening match was Darby Allin versus Brody King in a coffin match, and this was just go, 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 move, move, move. I'm gonna kill you, you gonna kill me. Guess we're gonna be reborn and try to kill each other again. The first time they opened up the coffin, Sting was in there, and he had a little big black spot on his face, so he's not done with Malachi Black. That's for sure. They definitely have beef, and I can see maybe a tag match between these two teams at All Out, but Darby did win. He choked out Brody King, who fell into the coffin. Darby didn't really win this match. He escaped. That's just how it is. Andrade and Rush defeated the Lucha Brothers. They've been trying to do this match for weeks, and we finally got it, and it was very good. Hangman Page is choosing to be with the Dark Order over the Young Bucks, as the Young Bucks need a third for their Trios tournament match. It's Kenny Omega, isn't it? It's Kenny Omega. I wanted it to be Brandon Cutler. Luchasaurus won a squash, and Jungle Boy tried to kill Christian again. Miro says he will destroy the House of Black. So, House of Black are feuding with Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro. FTR are teaming up with Wardlow as they are going to go up against Jay Lethal and his crew. Ricky Starks beat Aaron Solo. Hobbs was not happy with that. Jay Cargo retained the TBS Championship against Madison Rayne. This was probably the one minor thing that happened on the show. Something didn't work. They weren't clicking. So since Chris Statlander is injured, Tony Storm will most likely be the new challenger for Thunder Rosa, and I can expect Thunder Rosa to beat her unless I do what they think they should do, which is a fatal 4-way at All Out with Thunder Rosa defending the championship against Tony, Jamie, and Britt. And in the main event, Jon Moxley retained the interim world championship against the Lionheart Chris Jericho, who was this new up-and-comer. By the time the match was over, just Jericho was bleeding. I think he broke his nose or something. He was just covered in blood. But Mox retains, and the rest of JS came out to beat up Mox. The BCC came out. Eddie Ortiz came out. It still wasn't enough until CM Punk made his miraculous return. He and Mox went face to face, and we're getting the match at All Out. This is good. This is a good. Over on Impact, we had our go-home show for Emergence. Madison Rayne lost our Pharaoh match. As you know, she is now part of AEW. Mike Bailey retained the X Division Championship against against Rocky Romero. And Alex Shelley and Josh Alexander talked some trash before their title fight at Emergence. Actually, let me give you the results for Emergence. That would be great. I went to 2022. This is their newer pay-per-view, Emergence. And what do we have? Let me make sure I got the right show. Yes, I do. Brian Myers, in the pre-show, Brian Myers defeated Bundapitter. I can't pronounce this dude's name. Retained the Impact Digital Media Championship. Also on the pre-show, VXT, which is, I guess, the name for Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo's tag team. They defeated Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie to win the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Mike Bailey retained the Impact X Division Championship over Jack Evans. Valiant Badazan defeated Chris Sabin and Kushida. Bandito defeated Ray Horace. Sami Callihan defeated Steve Macklin. Honor No More, the team of Eddie Edwards, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, PCL, and Vincent defeated the Bullet Club. Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Hikuleo. Honor No More received a tag team title shot. Had Bullet Club won, no Honor No More would have been disbanded. Jordan Grace retained the Women's Championship, the Knockout Championship over Mia Yim, and Josh Alexander retained the World Championship over Alex Shelley. But back over to our shows over at SmackDown. The Triple H era continues. So Raquel and Aaliyah, we had our first match. They defeated the team of Shotzi and Xia Li in another first round matchup for the Women's Tag Team Championship. I'm really tired of Xia Li and Shotzi Blackheart losing matches. It's really starting to get on my nerves. Karrion Kross had a promo about being casted away. They're going to try to hide all of Karrion Kross's deficiencies and weaknesses because he has many, many deficiencies and is very weak. Drew McIntyre cut a promo about Roman and Kross. He's pretty much not worried about Kross at all. Telling Roman that, Roman, I beat Brock by myself. You needed the Usos in theory and Paul Heyman to win. So the Usos jumped him, and Scarlett was there watching everything. The Viking Raiders killed Kofi. That man is dead. He needs some milk. Hit row. Hit row. Hit row. Hit row. Return, defeating a squash jobber tag team. Ronda Rousey came through the crowd, said, listen, they fined me. She dropped, just had a bag of money and just dropped on the table. Here's double my fine. She then took out some security. This is the Ronda Rousey I want. Fuck a heel, fuck a face. This is the Ronda Rousey I want. Shayna Baszler walked up to her because it was supposed to be a contract signed between Shayna and Liv, and Ronda was like, used to be a killer. Seeds. Tiny little seeds planted. So Shayna signed the contract, Liv did as well, and then Liv put Shayna through a table. Alright. I like it. The seeds. Madcap Moss and Drew McIntyre beat the Usos, and in the main event, Gunther retained the the Intercontinental Championship over Shinsuke Nakamura. It was dope. Man, it was fucking dope. Over on Rampage, Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson had some words about being wrestlers. Bryan Danielson was like, listen, when I name names for the BCC, you were one of those names because I know you're one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet. And I wanted you. So you want to be a sports entertainer or you want to be the best wrestler? And they're going to have a 2 out of 3 falls match. On Dynamite, Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti retained the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships over Dante Martin and Sky Blue. This was entertaining. The Death Triangle are reforming. Well, not reforming, they wouldn't go anywhere, but they're coming for the Trios Championships. And Rush, Andrade, and Dragon Lee would not stand in their way. Parker Boudreaux defeated Sonny Kiss. The Gun Club defeated Danhausen and Eric Redbeard. Billy Gunn told his sons, like, yo, I missed the Acclaim, so I'm going to get you another match. Let's see what happens. Stokely Hathaway offered the boys his card. Swerve and Keith Lee accept Private Party's challenge, so they'll be winning the tag team championship against them. Hook is confronted by Zach Clayton, and Orange Cassidy defeated Arya Davari in the main event. Sonny Kiss turned heel and joined. Did he join the Trustbusters? This is very, very interesting. It's a very interesting development. Our matches of the week, and there are some matches of the week. From Battle of the Belts 3, the AEW Women's World Championship, Thunder Rosa defending against Jamie Hayter. Also from Battle of the Belts 3, the Ring of Honor World Championship, Claudio Castagnoli defending against Konosuke Takeshita. From NXT, Apollo Crews versus Roderick Strong. From Dynamite, the Coffin Match, Brody King versus Darby Allin. Also from Dynamite, the AEW World Championship match, Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho. From Impact, the X Division Championship match, Mike Bailey versus Rocky Romero. From Emergence, Ray Horus versus Bandito. The Knockout Championship, Jordan Grace versus Mia Yim. And the Impact World Championship, Josh Alexander versus Alex Shelley. And lastly, from SmackDown, the Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther defending against Shinsuke Nakamura. That's 11 matches, guys, from Battle of the Belts up until Rampage. That was some good wrestling. I was going back and forth on putting Ciampa and Bobby Lashley's U.S. Championship match. I don't know. It was just missed the mark. But our star of the week, there's a lot you can go to, but I'm going to have to go with Gunther just because we finally get to see him shine and be, well, Walter. But that's the week in review, and we'll be right back. So, I truly believe that when it comes to pro wrestling, nothing lasts forever. I believe that. I do. I think that what comes around goes around, and never say never. Those are all major cliches, and that kind of brings me to today's top story. The Comeback. Nice little new series I got going for y'all. This is The Comeback. And what is The Comeback? Well, The Comeback is about wrestlers that have either maybe retired or left a promotion and come back. Was it for the better? Was it for the worst? And it really got me thinking about this because of Ric Flair's last match. Ric Flair's last match. We had that recently, and he wanted to go out on his own terms, but now he's talking about he regrets declaring retirement after his last match. Like, Rick, you're done, my guy. You're done. You're done. So not only was this a major event, but it was a pay-per-view. It was Ric Flair saying that he would be done. And let me give you some background on this. If you don't know Ric Flair, you should know who Ric Flair is. You know what I mean? It's Ric Flair. Anyway, Flair debuted as a pro wrestler December 10th, 1972. And he had an illustrious career. He's Ric Flair. He's the kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing, jet-flying son of a gun. He had one retirement match already, and that was the Instant Classic at WrestleMania 24, the year 2008. Who can't forget Shawn Michaels mouthing to Flair, "I'm sorry, I love you." Sweet chin music. And that was a way to go. That was 14 years ago. That was definitely a strong way. A strong, just a strong way, a perfect way to go out. But again, never say never. That was in March of 2008. In 2009, there was the Hulkamania Let the Battle Begin tour, and Ric Flair was a part of that. Hulk Hogan. It was a wrestling tour with Hulk Hogan promoted by Hogan and Bischoff, who took place in Australia. This was the first appearance of Hogan wrestling in Australia. He wrestled in Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane, and Sydney. So why was this so important? Because in those 4 shows, the main event each time was Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. The first night in Melbourne was Hogan versus Flair. The second night was Hogan with Jimmy Hart versus Ric Flair with Lacey Von Erich in a no DQ match. The third night was Hogan in Brisbane was Hogan versus Flair, Jimmy Hart, and Lacey Von Erich versus managed respectively, regular one-on-one match. And the fourth night was the same thing, Sydney. So we had a retirement match, WrestleMania, and then Flair was like, I'm gonna go do that, and that completely shit on the Shawn Michaels Flair match at WrestleMania. That was a classic. So Flair joined Impact, and obviously you guys should know the famous segment between him and Jay Lethal. Footage started appearing this year of Flair training with his former rival Jay Lethal, and then it was announced in May of 2002 that Ric Flair will wrestle one final match. One final match is to take place at the Tennessee State Fairgrounds Sports Arena, July 31st, 2022, part of his son-in-law Conrad Thompson's StarCast convention. It was held the same weekend as SummerSlam. So SummerSlam was Saturday. This took place on Sunday. The card was titled Ric Flair's Final Match, and this involved promotions AEW, Black Label Pro, DDT, Future Stars of Wrestling, Game Changer Wrestling, Impact, Lucha Libre, AAA, MLW, NWA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, OVW, Progress, Pro Wrestling Revolver, Ring of Honor, Terminus, and WWE. And you're wondering who from the WWE performed on this event? Well, it was the one and only Jeff Jarrett, because he works for the WWE now. So let's just get to the main event. It was Ric Flair teaming with his son-in-law Andrade El Idolo, taking on Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, who had Karen Jarrett with him. The finish of the match came after Conrad Thompson threw brass knucks to Andrade. Andrade gave the knucks to Flair, who used to knock out Jarrett. Kyoto was knocked out, causing Andrade to call for another ref. Flair put Jarrett in the figure 4. Jeff Jarrett's shoulders were pinned to the mat, and the new ref made the count. After the match, Flair greeted his family at ringside. Bret Hart, Mick Foley, Taker, Tony Schiavone was there, who interviewed him. And he hoisted the big gold belt, which we all know is the best looking belts in all of professional wrestling history. And overall, wasn't a horrible show. The best match obviously was Bandito, Black Taurus, Laredo Kid, and Rey Fenix in a fatal 4-way. But it did well at the gate, but more so Flair's performance. You knew he was going to bleed, which he did. And Flair vowed to never wrestle again, to honor his word. So will he stick with it? Who knows? I think he will. But he's retired. For all intents and purposes, he is retired. I would like to think he's going to stay retired. So that was fun. Ric Flair had a moment. He left. We're done. Next on this list is Madusa. Yeah, I know Madusa. Madusa is a legend among legends. So why would Madusa be on this list? She's a storied female competitor, and her career goes from AWA, All Japan, WCW, and WWF. And she's involved in one of the most, if you don't know, notorious moments in wrestling history, where she left the WWF with the Women's Championship, appeared on Nitro, and just dropped the championship in the trash can. She was blacklisted for 20 years. And she was ahead of her time. She was way, way ahead of her time. So she pretty much was retired and showed that she was done. So if you guys actually don't know, Madusa drives monster trucks. Oh, you don't believe me? I was working a monster truck event here in Philly, and I was like, Madusa, hold on, is that? Wait, Madusa? Madusa drives monster trucks. Let that sink in. So she actually found her career. So Madusa was done, blacklisted, but a special event came around 2018. What do you mean? What? She returned as one of her earlier gimmicks, a Alundra Blaze, and she wrestled after 18 years at WWE Evolution, the only all-women's pay-per-view event. She was in a battle royal, which was a good way to protect her. And it was good to see Madusa in the ring. It's like, yo, it's Madusa, dog. I mean, she's here. This is a legend here in front of us. And it was great. It was a moment to see a legend get off the blacklist. We're not going to always focus on retirement. One more person retired. On this day, I see clearly the world now. I don't know. And the broken dreams, yeah, chance to see. You know what I'm talking about. That would be the one rated R superstar. Edge had to retire because of a neck injury. And you've seen it. I've seen a lot of those. Edge is a legend in this business. And his last match was at WrestleMania 27, he defended the World Heavy. I remember he was taking on in Andrade. That I remember. I just don't remember if it was the World Championship or the WWE Championship. Let's go to WrestleMania 27. It was the World Heavyweight Championship. It was the big gold belts. It's the opening match of that WrestleMania as well. And the next night on Raw, Edge announced that he's not medically cleared to compete anymore due to cervical spinostenosis. Edge was hurt. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame the following year. WrestleMania 27 was 11 years ago. That's a horrible poster, by the way. But 11 years ago, so Edge couldn't compete anymore. But then something miraculous happened. We heard some noise, we heard some rumors, and the 2020 Royal Rumble. We heard it. You think you know me? Edge returned in the Royal Rumble, and he got there to soak it all in. Just, you could see him. He was ecstatic. He was so happy to just be in the ring. And I'm with him on that. Retirement wasn't the end, and it shouldn't be his injury. And Edge he got hurt again, but he's still here. He's got signed a 3-year deal. And he's been doing feuds. More often than not, they've worked out. He's been face, he's been heel. But he's here. And that's great. 2 more, and we gonna get out of here. How about that one Hulk Hogan? Now, you know what I'm going to get into. So Hogan is wrestling. Hulk Hogan is professional wrestling. Put professional wrestling on his back for much of the 80s. Hulkamania was running wild, brother. And him and Vince have not always been on the best of terms. And at that point, it caused him to skate. So what did Hogan do? Well, in 1993, 93 or 94? It's 94. Hogan joined WCW. Yep. Obviously you know this. He left and joined WCW, and we know what he did there. He did the whole Hulkamania thing. Things became stagnant. So from 94 to 96, it was the same shit over and over. But then something, well, you guys know, 1996, Bash at the Beach. The Outsiders, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. Who is the third man? It's none other than Hulk Hogan in the birth of the NWO. And for 3 years, WCW destroyed the WWF at that time. And then it was all said and done, and it was over. And WCW got bought out. But then in 2002, what happened? What happened? Vince was feuding with Ric Flair. It was the whole ownership thing. And Vince said he's going to kill his own creation. What do you mean? You gonna kill on creation? And I'll never, ever forget this. He was sitting in a chair. So he's going to kill his own creation. And he said it'll be me and the NWO. He turned around, and on the back of his chair was the NWO. So we moved to No Way Out 2002. And there it is. The NWO walked through that door. Not the forbidden door, but they were back. The NWO were here. Hogan, Hall, Nash. Back as heels, and they ran roughshod over everybody. They fucked everybody up. It was crazy. Like, nothing really gets more iconic than that. So Hogan made his comeback because the money is good. And it's the NWO. If you can return with your boys, then return with your boys. And speaking of the NWO, we'll leave with Big Sexy. It's also a great segment. You should check that out. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash returned with Hulk Hogan in the NWO ads. No Way Out. So what happened in between? Well, Hogan left. Hall left. Nash left. Nash was in WCW, and then when WCW was bought out, Nash was gone. Where did Nash go? Well, here's the thing about Nash. Y'all don't really remember this. He started in WCW, went to the WWF, returned to the WCW. That's where the NWO went back to the WWF and then left finally. So smart. He goes where the money is. And then after that last stint in the WWF in 04, right, he went to Impact and did things a little differently while he was in Impact. I'm sorry, TNA.
To start your day.
He formed a duo with who? Scott Hall. They were called the Kings of Wrestling. He then started Paparazzi Productions, which was great, hilarious stuff. He helped build the X Division just a little bit more. And lastly, the Main Event Mafia. One of the most iconic factions ever. And guess what happened after he left TNA? He did the indie circuit for a minute, but came back to the WWE. Came back. And we know how that turned out. Summer of Punk, I texted myself. He's done some appearances in the Royal Rumble, but the ruination of the Summer of Punk. Never, ever, ever forget that. Kevin Nash was a part of that. So tell me guys what you think. Any names I should talk about next, and their importance of the comeback. So, yeah. That's our show. And I appreciate you all. Next time we'll be looking at another new series. I gotta keep you all on your toes. X-Pac Heat. Ooh, boy. What y'all know about that X-Pac Heat? You don't want that. You don't want X-Pac Heat. couple people have gotten that. A few people have gotten X-Pac Heat, aka Go Home Heat. But we'll dive into that next week. As always, you can check me out on my socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and spelled out the 215 on Twitter. As always, I appreciate you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And as always, Xylee, Wendy Chu, Shotzi Blackheart, and of course, Gigi Dolan.